What twists and turns do we have in the title and relegation race to happen this week? Join us as we travel from Merseyside to North London and unpack all of the action of Matchweek 9. I am Redbeard. This is Targo.
What's up, guys?
Join us as we break it all down. This is an all-new episode of Brews and Banter, and it starts right now. Right, Targo, my friend, how the heck are you?
Doing good, man. How was your birthday trip?
It was good, man. Myrtle Beach was nice. It was sunny for about half of it. A lot of golf played, a lot of friends made.
Lots of brews?
What?
Lots of brews?
I would go with a few too many brews, to be honest with you. But we did hit up 4 or 5 breweries out there. It was fun. I even brought home one with me. So I guess I'll start.
Okay.
So I got Sweetwater Brewing Company's Hazy 710 Pale Ale. It is, I've already sipped it, as you could see during the intro. It's very hop forward for a hazy. So it's like what you would get in a normal hazy, but you flip it around. So it's very hoppy at the beginning and then very hazy, so tropical fruit taste at the end of it. It's strange, but it's good.
Well, I am drinking Mumby Brewing Company, Headless Mumby Brewing Company, Northwest Amber Lager. It's a Vienna lager inspired by the Pacific Northwest, bready malt aromatics, copious amounts of classic American hops. So there's the can. We'll see what this tastes like. That's okay. Okay.
Copious amounts of hops in there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big amber guy, but it's not bad.
That I know.
Not as good as that Amber's Mom. That one was better.
Oh, man. Gets me every time. All right, Targo. Let's get into it. All right, Targo. Matchweek 9 in the English Premier League. And man, we kick things off with one of the world's biggest rivalries in the 244th edition of the Merseyside Derby. As we had Liverpool taking on Everton, as it has been in recent years, we knew this game would go, well, one way and one way only. As Liverpool ran out 2-0 winners. But there was still controversy in this game. Can't seem to get away from it.
I would say controversy, but it also, you're not wrong. This kind of has gone one way in recent years. Everton have not been good the past few seasons. But Everton made Liverpool work for this win. This wasn't an easy stroll in at Anfield. They kind of almost struggled to get that breakthrough. It took a handball from Michael Keane and a Mo Salah PK, and then a breakaway, I think it was the 89th minute, where Mo Salah got on the end of another goal. So they ended up winning 2-0, but I thought Everton played well defensively for a majority of that game, even with a man down.
And I was going to just get into that. Yeah,
a
couple early yellow cards. Ashley Young sent off. Playing most of the game with 10 men is never easy, especially against a Liverpool side that seems to be scoring for fun. But this Liverpool side could have also been 10 men down, as Ibrahim Konate, probably a little bit lucky, as he was not shown a second yellow for his tackle on Beto.
I'm probably going to get some stick for this, man, but honestly, I've heard a couple, I've seen the replays, and I've heard other, people talk about that and how Konate should have probably had a second yellow. I didn't think it was a yellow. I'm going to be honest. I did not. I thought Beto went down super easy. I mean, you see the arm of Konate kind of go across him, but he doesn't hold him or nothing. It just I feel like it was a soft arm. And Beto should have been stronger, if I'm being honest. I thought it would have been a real soft yellow for a red.
Yeah, as controversial as that opinion might be, I tend to agree with you. because he didn't even look like he really touched him with his arm across his chest. Definitely not enough to knock him over. So, I don't know. I mean, seems to be happening every single week where a player is on a yellow, something controversial happens, and they get a yellow card or they don't. As we saw last week with Arsenal, Kovacic should have got another yellow. This one, probably not.
I mean, you saw what Klopp thought. He saw that happen. He brought Konate off.
Yeah,
so I think he knew he was a little lucky, but again, for me, I thought it would have been soft, versus the Ashley Young yellow cards. Those were yellows.
Yeah.
Those two poor challenges.
Those are black and white, plain and simple. But it does beg the question, should VAR be able to check these second yellow card offenses, even if a yellow card is not given?
No. I feel like VAR is too involved now, man. It seems like they check everything. These VAR stoppages, it's looking like the NFL, man, having to stop for the refs to go look at a screen every 10 minutes. It's getting a little bit annoying, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and I agree. It's for me, it's more of the it's a catch-22, really, right? Like we want more things to actually be reviewed by VAR if they have any sort of controversy whatsoever, but we don't want them to stop play. But we also want them to stop play because we want the ref to be the final decider, because we've seen what VAR actually does for decisions. They mess it up.
I think VAR should get involved in decisions if it's, a blatant mistake by the on-field official. Not calling that a yellow card, I don't think is a blatant mistake.
Well, what do you guys think? Let us know down below.
I mean, we've seen so many red cards, it seems like, this season because of all the yellows now that you get for the holding up this card or the time wasting. I mean,
especially the time wasting, yeah.
We're seeing lots of yellows, and then you make one bad tackle and you're off.
Yeah, kind of ruins the flow of the play, but I understand why they did it. All right. Next question, buddy. Should Darwin Nunez be starting in this Liverpool team, or is he just a really good super sub?
That's tough. Because I like Diogo Jota up there. But Darwin Nunez, I feel like, isn't impressing me lately. At least coming off the bench. I mean, he's a fantastic player to have come off the bench with his speed running at tired defenders. I mean, he popped up with an assist in this game, so I think he deserves a run, especially Cody Gakpo not playing. But again, he's going to have to take the spot of Diogo Jota, which is
tough to do.
I don't know.
Because he always seems to pop up with a goal or an assist as well. So, makes it a hard decision for Jurgen Klopp. That's for sure. All right. Next up, we travel to London as Brentford took on Burnley. We both picked Brentford because, well, Burnley, they've been absolute garbage this season. Let's be honest. As Brentford ran out 3-0 winners in this one, and it started with, well, a bit of an interesting disallowed goal. As Brentford had a goal called back. Apparently, the attacker who scored the goal was onside. However, there was another attacker who was in offside position who apparently held back Burnley's striker. I forget his name. Lyle Foster?
I think he kind of impeded him. I don't know if he would hold him back, but he impeded the defender from getting to the player who touched the ball, but the player who impeded was offside.
Yeah.
And so it was, I thought the goal should have stood, but
again, this is one of those, it could go either way. I don't think Foster would have got there to be able to stop this ball from going in the net.
I don't think he would have had any effect on the play. You're right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, Brentford at the end of the day got the job done, and it probably could have been 6-0 rather than 3, but good on them for playing through it and figuring it out. But still, I mean, if this is how things are going to go all season, there's going to be lots and lots of people calling for a lot of heads in PMGOL.
Or just clarification on these rules, man. I mean, what's a handball now?
We'll get into that later.
It seems like the Premier League's going towards kind of the same rules as the Champions League.
I mean, that's fine, right? As long as it's black and white. We say it every week. If it's black and white, there's no complaints. There's a lot of gray area.
I don't care if it's black or white. I just want it to be consistent. Be consistent every week on what's a handball versus what's not. Which it seems like this week they kind of were. They were consistently calling handballs.
Yeah. All right. Well, Brentford struck first through their connection of Mbomo and Visa in the 25th minute. And then Mbomo pops up 62nd minute with a top-class finish.
Golazo, man.
Yeah.
Lovely finish.
Carter Roberts gets his second yellow for a poor foul in the 78th, and Brentford, well, they take advantage of their superior numbers as Simon Goudos scores a beautiful goal in the 88th minute to finish this one 3-0 to the Bees. But man, this one, I mean, all the talking points are around Burnley, man. How bad are they, first off? And second, man, they're in trouble. I know we asked this last episode, but how long can Vincent Kompany last? He's got one tactic. That's it. And it's not working at all.
That tactic's gotten him 4 points and 23 goals scored against.
Yeah.
He's not going to last long, man.
They have as many goals for as they have losses. How about that?
They struggle. I mean, their one win was against Luton.
Yes. At Luton, I believe.
And so, yeah, and then they got one draw, and the rest of their L's, man.
And they're not close either.
No. So they're in trouble. Yeah, they need to start turning these results around, and I think it might be Kompany that's the issue.
Yeah. I definitely tend to agree with you on that one, because as a coach and a manager, you have to be able to adapt. And he is showing an inability to be able to adapt. I mean, he's not playing for Manchester City anymore. He doesn't have billions of pounds to spend on players. He might have like $1 million to spend on players at this point. All right. Next up, Bournemouth and Wolves, as Gary O'Neill takes on his former team and eventually gets revenge on the team that sacked him in the summer. So we both picked Wolves, and they run out 2-1 winners in this one, but they had to leave it late. Bournemouth strike first through Dominic Solanke in the 17th minute. Though Wolves had chances in the first half with Pedro Neto hitting the crossbar, they had nothing going until just after the half when Matthias Cunha had a fantastic finish to level things up.
Dude, great finish.
Great finish.
Great piece of skill, yeah.
And then a bit of controversy in this one as well. Seems to be a theme of this week, as Lewis Cook gets sent off in the 54th minute following an altercation with that Korean guy, Hwang Hee-chan.
Yeah, supposedly headbutted him. If that constitutes a headbutt, man.
It almost looked like, when you're in like grade school and you're trying to like psych someone out, like what are you gonna do? It doesn't actually look like he touches him, but he goes down clutching his face like he just got decked.
I mean, he touches him, but it was very light. It was it wasn't no Zinedine Zidane headbutt, that's for sure.
No. And if that's the standard, man, then that was not a headbutt.
Zidane's was attempted murder.
Yeah, it really was. I still feel that Materazzi probably has a hole in his chest from that one.
But yeah, I guess you can't do that. You can't go head to head leaning with it, and he just did, and sucks. Sucks for Lewis Cook. Because guess what? We'll take advantage of that extra man and get the winner in the 88th.
Yeah, through Sasha Kalinic.
Yep.
And
I
for
gotta
his,
say, man,
second winner this season?
Wolves' second win?
No. Kalisic, his second game-winning goal this season
Oh,
off the
is it?
bench.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I gotta give credit, man, to Gary O'Neill and this Wolves team. Beginning of the season, Luptigi had left. I thought this team was in shambles, They have their financial issues, still kind of do. But Gary O'Neill, man, he is proving to be one heck of a manager so far.
I mean,
And
we saw what he did with Bournemouth last season. And a team that had no right staying up.
They didn't. And they started playing some fantastic football, getting results against Tottenham. They did lose there towards the end of the season once they had become safe. But I think Bournemouth maybe should have stuck with Gary O'Neill.
Looking at the table, it would say so. Yeah, as Bournemouth are sitting in 19th with 3 points, and Wolves all the way up in 12th with 11.
I mean, and think of the teams Wolves are playing against, and they're playing well against them. They beat Man City last time out. Against Liverpool, they played a fantastic first half against Liverpool, winning that half, and then, yes, Liverpool came back and won. They arguably played better than Manchester United.
Opening. Yeah.
And so
the whole Onana controversy.
They're playing good.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised, excited
right
for Wolves. Yeah. Especially Pedro Neto, man. The guy is on fire.
Him and Hwang Hee-chan, man. Ever since he started in the starting 11. Just saying. Someone might have said that. They do well, and they have. All right.
And then
next
everything's the opposite for Bournemouth.
Yeah, I have nothing good to say about Bournemouth, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Right? My mom told me, if you don't got something nice to say, don't say it at all. Well, Bournemouth, you suck. All right, next up we had Nottingham Forest and Luton Town, as Forest look to continue their hot start to the season against lowly Luton Town. And this first half was real cagey, man. Body blows all over the place.
Yeah, neither team wanting to overextend, concede that goal. But it did open up in the second half quite a bit.
Yes, as Chris Wood, turning back the years, scoring for Forest just after the break, and then would make it 2 in the 76th minute. Both goals assisted by Anthony Elanga. And what a ball for that second goal by Elanga.
Oh, yeah.
Picked out Chris Wood's head.
He's been a fantastic signing, it looks like, for Forest.
Oh, yeah. And Chris Wood with turning back the years with a fantastic header for that second one as well. And then Nottingham Forest would do what, they have done all season. And they shot themselves in the foot as Luton began the comeback in the 83rd minute off of a free kick. And to be honest with you, I don't even know how to explain this one.
It was just terrible, terrible defending. So many mistakes, ball bouncing around in the box. Oh, gosh.
It was so bad. It's like a comedy of errors. It really was.
It was.
And then at the death, Luton would equalize after a long ball up to the front. And it ends in a draw, but, poor from Nottingham Forest, as they should have won this game comfortably.
Yeah, poor defending. You're cruising at 2-0. And they get their, 10 minutes left. Come on. I will say it's a huge point for Luton, who are out of the relegation zone. Still early days for them.
The teams below them not looking like they'll pick up a point anytime soon, even against each other.
Those will be big games, those bottom 4 there playing each other 5.
Yeah, Everton, if they can get their act together, should be safe. But the other 4, holy cow, they're bad. All right. Over to Tyneside as Newcastle played Crystal Palace, and Newcastle just free flowing of late. Goals just keep going in, and they win this one 4-0. So they put Palace to the sword, scoring 3 in the first half. Goals by Jacob Murphy, Anthony Gordon, and Sean Longstaff in the 4th, 44th, and 47th minutes. I gotta ask, though, was that Jacob Murphy goal on purpose?
I don't think it was, man. I think he was looking for someone in the middle.
Nice looping chip over the goalie. Looked like a mishit. Either way, you could see what it meant to him as he had a smile from ear to ear during his celebrations for that one. And man, was he having fun after that. And then the third poor slip from Gahey
Oh yeah,
allowed
poor guy.
Longstaff to just scoot right by him.
One-on-one with the goalie. Yeah.
Newcastle would make it 4 through Callum Wilson in the 66th minute to finish it off, but this Newcastle squad are absolutely flying right now, scoring goals for fun. Top scorers in the Premier League. I mean, 24 goals in 9 games.
I haven't lost anything in 5 matches. They have a draw, and they're drawing 4 wins in their last 5. Flying high, Newcastle, man.
They're looking dangerous, and, it's a good time to be doing that as they have a Champions League game midweek against Dortmund, I believe.
Yes.
So, should be a good one for them. Next up, well, the game we probably all were looking forward to. Manchester City and Brighton. Brighton high-flying this season, but letting in loads of goals. Manchester City getting Rodri and John Stones back for this one, as they would run out 2-1 winners in a game that I believe the scoreline flatters Brighton a little bit, because Manchester City looked in control for this entire match.
I would disagree with that.
Okay, well,
I would very much disagree with that, yeah.
First half, all Man City as Jeremy Doku. Man, he finally gets a start. Tore up that entire right side of Brighton's defense. It's some fantastic play from him. Cuts the ball back to Julian Alvarez. A bit of an ugly finish, but it goes in just after 7 minutes.
Yeah, dude, Jeremy Doku, man, was tearing up poor James Milner on that right-hand side. He was...
mismatch of the century, man.
Yeah, he was chewing him up and spitting him out every chance he got. Yeah. But I will say, yeah, Manchester City in that first half definitely looked good. Haaland got his goal after a poor giveaway from, was it Baleba?
Yeah.
And he actually scored outside the box. What?
I didn't know he could do that.
Not for Man City, at least.
Yeah, as Baleba, man, terrible giveaway first off, but a game to forget for him as he was poor the entire match until getting subbed off.
Yeah, and then halftime kind of showed up, and you could tell Roberto De Zerbi, he stuck to their game plan. I will say, 2-0 down against Man City, he didn't change anything as far as tactics. He changed players, personnel, which were the right choices, bringing up James Milner at halftime, and Ferguson had to come on for Welbeck in that first half. He got injured. I was also disappointed not to see Billy Gilmore get the start in midfield,
especially with how he's been playing this season. He's been on fire. So I would think he would have had a knock for him not to start.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, this Brighton team, could you name the starting lineup for the next game? It changes so much. It's tough. But I will say, I feel like Brighton got a foothold in that second game, or in that second half, sorry, and they got the goal through Ansu Fati. But they were putting pressure on Man City there at the end. And Matoma had a chance one-on-one with Ortega Ortega saved.
Yeah,
so I would disagree. It was a walk in the park for Man City, who controlled the entire game, because at the end they were sweating because Pep Guardiola brought on Nathan Ake and Ruben Diaz to shore up that defense.
I'm not saying it was a walk in the park, but especially in that first half, Manchester City probably could have scored more than 2. Second half, you're right. Different story, especially after Brighton scored. And I mean, it was a devastating counterattack. Lewis Dunk had to save the ball on the goal line, which literally within 2 passes led to Matoma going all the way down the field, lay the ball back for Akanji to try to clear it, only to play it to Ansu Fati, who just slotted it home.
And Akanji, he did get sent off late in this game for 2 yellow card tackles.
Yeah. Again, it's going to happen a lot this season.
But going
Yellow
back to
cards.
Lewis Dunk, man, I got a little Lewis Dunk appreciation. He is
Woo.
one heck of a defender, man. I mean, he seems to be in the right place at the right time, hence why he saved that goal line clearance. But he's a fantastic passer of the ball, and he's not too bad on one-on-one situations.
No, especially for a big guy who's not necessarily that quick. He always makes the right decision and is very, very rarely caught on the back foot.
His
I'll be honest
timing
with you,
is fantastic.
If he wasn't in this Brighton squad, this game probably would have been 5-6-0. He is that good for this Brighton team.
He is a fantastic defender. Man City, I think it's great for them. They have Rodri, John Stones back.
Yeah,
they definitely needed
Rodri.
them.
Yeah. Yeah, and this Manchester City squad, you know, when everybody's healthy, we'll see how they fare. I would be honest to say that, you know, without De Bruyne, they're less dangerous going forward. Erling Haaland definitely seems starved for his service, but they still look as dangerous as ever, even after.
Jeremy Doku, man, looks dangerous.
Yes.
I mean,
Foden as well.
Does Grealish get a sniff with the way Doku's been playing, man?
Not unless he wants to give Doku a rest. I think Grealish gets into this squad.
Doku, man,
which is saying something after a season he had last year.
As you would say, Doku is lightning in a bottle, man. He is so quick and...
Yeah. Watching him is like kissing a spark plug.
James Milner felt all of that on the weekend.
All right, and next to the London derby of the weekend as we go to Stamford Bridge where Chelsea took on Arsenal. Chelsea struggling at the moment. Arsenal flying high. Were close to the top of the table, or at least tied on points with Tottenham Hotspur going into this one. And Chelsea, man. This is the Chelsea team we've been waiting to see all season. I will give credit to Pochettino in this one, playing a box in midfield with Gallagher, Palmer, Enzo, and Caicedo. I mean, Saliba and Gabriel, without a striker to mark, looked lost.
Yeah, Cole Palmer was kind of floating between a false nine, coming back into midfield. He'd drift out to a wing, and so you're right. Saliba, Gabriel didn't really know who to mark. And they came out flying. I thought their midfield looked fantastic. That Enzo Caicedo Gallagher connection definitely was better than Arsenal's in this game. Rice,
the majority of it, at least.
And Jorginho.
Yeah.
And yeah, they came out flying, man. And, you know, I guess we'll start with the first goal, the penalty against Saliba for the handball.
Yeah. Ball comes in from, I believe it was Sterling, yes?
Sterling, yeah, crosses it in for Mudryk. Mudryk heads it on the Saliba's
header. Hits Saliba's hand, which is less than 3 feet away from his head. Ref calls a PK. Should it have been a penalty?
So here's how I feel about that PK. I do think it was, after watching it, I thought the ref's going to give a PK for this, just from the letter of the law, the way it's going.
His arm was out here.
His arm was out. Now, like you said, his arm was not far from the ball, a couple yards, a yard.
Not enough time to react, nonetheless.
I do think it's a natural position for when you're trying to go for a header. Your arms are going to go out for that leverage and to kind of protect yourself from, you know, the other player. My defender in me, if that went against me, I would feel very hard done. If I'm the attacker, I thought it would be a PK. I mean, so that's kind of where I'm at. I think it's a little harsh, but I thought it was going to be a given once I saw it.
I mean, yeah, like you said, watching the replays of it, I think it probably warranted a penalty. If you're William Saliba, like, you can't do anything. The ball's so close to you. Yeah. His arm was in a natural position, but it's also like completely away from his body. So I wasn't too pissed off about them giving a penalty for that one. Cole Palmer would step up and convert it. And, you know, the rest of the first half was a little slow with little goal action and more of a, you know, game of chess in the middle of the park.
It was, yeah. Raya had
But we'll
a
get to
couple
the
scary
second goal
moments.
as Chelsea would double their lead just after the break through Mihajlo Mudryk, who probably will claim that it wasn't a cross, but it clearly was. A
It was a
miss-hit
shanked
cross.
yeah.
And it went right into the top corner. David Raya being caught out, standing on his 6-yard box. This conversation is going to continue, right, until there's a definitive number one. But I'll be honest with you, David Raya did not have a good game in this one.
So I won't fault him too much for that goal.
No.
He had some other instances. There was one where he tried to play the ball into Rice. Rice had Caicedo breathing down his neck. But 2, he made a bad pass that Cole Palmer intercepts. And he then, kind of had to make a save against Cole Palmer. And so he looked shaky, man. Not only in this game, but, you think of against Manchester City, there was a couple instances where he got closed down by Julian Alvarez. And his
game
kick got
against
blocked.
Ligne was not convincing either.
Against Ligne, first goal was his fault. It was a poor kick out that Ligne was able to attack on. And, Ramsdale was not available for this game as he just had a child. So
congrats
I guess
to him.
It was an easy decision for Arteta on this one. But
with him coming back, man,
for the Champions League game against Sevilla, he got to play Ramsdale.
You have to. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Mikel Arteta will stick with David Raya because he's going to have to stick to his guns at this point. You've played him enough times in a row where Ramsdale was available.
I guess why not? He did it to Havertz. He dropped him. Why not? Why can't he drop Raya?
It's a great question. He totally can. I would love to see him do it and make David Raya re-win his spot in the starting 11 because, to be honest with you, Aaron Ramsdale did nothing wrong to get dropped. So, I don't know. This is going to be a conversation that's going to be had every single week. If someone doesn't play well in goal for Arsenal, it's going to be, why didn't the other one start? That's what happens when you have 2 number 1 goalies in your squad.
Let's talk about Chelsea's goalie and his mistake.
Get out of my head. There's more of a controversy as Robert Sanchez went out for the ball and missed, running straight into Gabriel Jesus, completely missing the ball.
Should have been a PK. It wasn't any different than Onana in that first game against Wolves, where he came out, missed the ball, clattered into the attacker. Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, how is he? I honestly, watching that and then seeing the replay, I'm like, oh, he's going to get sent to the monitor to look at that.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Check complete.
So I was like, what?
Yeah.
Completely missed the ball, clatters into Jesus.
I don't understand it. Yes, I understand you want to protect goalies, but you have to at some point protect the other players from the goalie. He missed the ball completely, ran right through Gabriel Jesus. I guess the only real argument is that, he also ran into his own defender in Thiago Silva. But Howard Webb went on Sky Sports.
Ball, man.
Howard Webb went on Sky Sports after the game and said it should have been a penalty kick. This is the head of the PGMOL saying it should have been a penalty kick because it should have been sent to the monitor. Because it was just exactly this, not exactly the same, but very similar to Onana against Wolves.
And I said, man, watching it live, I was like, oh, he's going to get sent to a monitor.
Yeah.
He's got to go look at this.
Still thought he should have been sent to the monitor.
He wasn't, yeah.
After a few substitutions from Mikel Arteta, Arsenal finally would come to life as another mistake by Robert Sanchez would see, I guess you'd call it a poor pass/clearance, would see Declan Rice with a striker's finish from 40 yards out as he puts it into the side netting first time in the 77th minute. Pretty sure it was Arsenal's first shot on target, well, at least quality shot on target.
Nope, it was their first shot on target. I looked.
Declan Rice, man, what a finish from a guy who's known for being a holding midfielder.
Yeah, in this game, Arteta kind of had him playing as an 8 alongside Odegaard with Jorginho kind of sitting back. I don't care for that midfield, if I'm being honest. I don't know why Thomas Partey didn't play. He was on the subs bench, so maybe he had a little injury, but I think you lose some of Declan Rice's best qualities pushing him that far forward, if I'm being honest.
I mean, if you're gonna play a former Chelsea player, I would have rather seen Kai Havertz.
I think I'd rather see Jorginho than Kai Havertz, but that's just
honestly,
me.
I would have rather seen Emile Smith Rowe. But we all know that one.
He's not.
Arsenal would get their equalizer.
Sold.
Emile?
I hate to see him
Jorginho?
go. Yeah.
For his career, probably. I would hate to see him go too, but that's a discussion for another day, maybe in January. Arsenal would get their equalizer in the 84th minute through super sub Leandro Trossard, who just pops up in all the right places for Arsenal as Malo Gusto, who had Martinelli in his pocket all first half, fell asleep at the back post, allowing Saka to play the ball right to Leandro Trossard, who first timed it straight past Robert Sanchez. And what a dramatic ending to that game it was.
It was, and I gotta say, man, Cucurella had a fantastic game. He had Saka in his back pocket
until that ball,
pretty much the whole game.
Maybe the last 10, 15 minutes. You're right. He had Saka in his pocket the whole game, and it drives me nuts because I hate looking at his face and his hair. It just looks like a dirty mop. It drives me nuts. But
don't care for that curly hair. How'd you feel about Guendouzi when he played for Arsenal?
At least his was on top of his head. It wasn't just like in a mop back behind his head, just flailing around everywhere.
What about David Luiz and his
braids or
big
something.
Curly hair?
I guess I would say I didn't see him play long enough at Arsenal to really care. He was in and then out just as fast. Yeah. But man, did Arsenal actually deserve a point from this game? Because I'm leaning towards they didn't.
Yeah, I would say so. Chelsea played well majority of the game, obviously. I mean, I would say this is Chelsea's best performance so far.
Easy, yeah.
But Arsenal did not look good either.
No.
Not to take anything away from Chelsea, but Arsenal also did not look good, and they still managed to get a draw at Stamford Bridge. I think they're probably a little lucky to get away with a draw. I mean, Chelsea should have won that game. You're up 2-0 with 15 minutes, 12 minutes, whatever it was left. You got to see that out.
23 minutes, yeah. But yeah, I mean, Declan Rice came out after the game saying, this is the worst performance Arsenal has had all season. And they still came out with a draw. I mean, good for them having the mentality to fight back, but I mean, if it wasn't for a gift from Robert Sanchez,
I was going to say it was more
Rice.
Assist from Robert Sanchez there, man.
Yeah. So that draw leaves Arsenal third with 21 points, and Chelsea are in the top half of the table in 10th.
Here comes their run to get in the Champions League.
All right, next up we had, speaking of Champions League, we had Manchester United playing Sheffield United. As United would barely scrape through this one with a 2-1 victory. As Super Scott McTominay does it again, scoring for United in the 28th minute. And I gotta say, man, I don't know where this first touch of his comes from, because Bruno absolutely blasted the ball at him from like 10 yards away. And straight up chests it over a defender and then volleys it home. I would have taken the wind out of me. I would have just fallen over.
He did, man. He rocketed that straight at McTominay, and he somehow was able to control it. And yeah, not the cleanest hit, but it was enough, and it went in.
It was enough. It went in. That's all that counts. Unfortunately for him.
I would say that was probably against the run of play, too.
Yeah.
Sheffield United, I played pretty well in that first half.
Yeah, and if they could finish, I think that might have been more of an equalizing goal rather than putting United in the lead.
Yeah.
But McTominay would shoot himself in the foot a little bit late, just 6 minutes later, after he gives away a penalty kick for a handball in the box, as Ollie McBurney would step up and put away the penalty. And what a finish that was, in off the post. Onana didn't stand a chance in hell.
No one's stopping that.
Yeah. United would get the winner late on as Diogo Dalot would come up with a striker's finish, putting it right in the top corner. But Fotheringham got both hands onto this one somehow.
Man. He got both hands onto it.
And it still went in. Should he have done better?
If you get both hands, man, yeah. I can see it was more like this, but But yeah, he got both hands. You got to save that.
At least, put it around the post. It wasn't very far, but how do you let the ball just go through your fingers?
He needs to work on that finger strength, apparently.
As good of a finish as it was, I definitely think Fotheringham should have done better. But United should have had a couple more. Go ahead.
This is a game of poor finishing, yeah.
It was, yeah. United should have had a couple more goals in this one. They had loads of chances. I mean, Bruno and from Amrabat both hit the post. Bruno's off a free kick, Amrabat off of a wonderful strike. But Marcus Rashford and Rasmus Højlund both had easy chances and just right at Fotheringham. Essentially hey, this is too easy. I don't want to finish this. You take the ball. Give me another try.
Yeah, do you remember when I told you last year how Marcus Rashford is very much a streaky player?
Mm-hmm.
He's in that bad streak right now, just letting you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, not last season, but the season before, he did that for pretty much the whole season.
He is a very streaky player.
He scores, 30 goals in what seemed like 2 months?
I will say, Højlund, at least he looks like a player, man, though. I think he could turn good for Manchester United. He's got that, I think, raw skill, speed. He's still young. Just got to get that little fine-tuning there. And I think he could turn into a lethal striker.
I think what he really needs is better service. Because he's not getting that at United. I mean, Antony in this match was terrible. Rashford
After watching this game, I am hard. Garnacho should be starting over Antony.
Even if it's I think Pellistri should be starting over him, but
I 100% think Garnacho should be starting.
Either one, yes. Antony should not be starting, and he is awful. Have you jumped on my bandwagon as probably one of the most expensive flops in the history of football?
Oh, I'm getting there, man. Yeah,
he's so bad.
Yeah,
if he can't cut the ball into his left foot, he's garbage. And even when he does that, he's still garbage. So I don't understand.
Then he's not fast either. He's not the quickest player. And then his moves are just they're slow because he's not quick. So his moves are all slow and they're not running at you. For example, if you're going to be flashy like that, like a Ronaldinho or young Cristiano Ronaldo, they're running at you. He stops. And it's still...
The only player I've ever seen actually stop the ball in the middle of play and then dance on it. At least Cristiano Ronaldo, the ball was always moving. Always. He would still dance on it, but the ball was always moving. It never stopped.
I will say I did like the lineup for this game. Lindelof playing left back.
Finally listened to me and played Lindelof on the left, huh?
But I do like how they played kind of more of a two holding midfielders in McTominay and Amrabat, and then put Bruno in that number 10. And Ten Hag sat Mason Mount, which I think is honestly at this point the right choice. Unless you're going to play him on the right instead of Antony, but I don't think that's Mount's best position, if I'm being honest with you.
No, I think Bruno's probably better off out there than Mount, but yeah.
But I want Bruno in that number 10 position.
Yeah, I do too. And I'll be honest, I mean, I gotta give credit where credit's due, man. Harry Maguire with another great performance for United.
He did put in a great game, yeah.
And, they have Champions League football in the Manchester Derby next weekend. At least defensively, they're looking better. Offensively, they're not. So it should be interesting to see how they line up against Manchester City and FC Copenhagen in a massive week for Manchester United.
Well, I can tell you, if they play like they did against Sheffield, they're going to lose those games.
Yeah. Well, I pretty much expect them to lose at least one of them. Manchester Derby.
The commentator, I feel like, summed it up perfectly. He said, United are relying on individual moments of brilliance to win games. Which they are. It took a Diogo Dalot goal.
Moment
that's
of brilliance.
Your right back. Right back, left back, whatever he's playing. It's your fullback scoring a goal, popping up on the edge of the box.
Top of the box, yeah. So.
And yeah, they're struggling, man. This does not look like Manchester United of old, that's for sure.
Yeah, and where they're sitting in the table, I mean, I can't believe that they're only 1 point behind Newcastle and Brighton, and only 3 points ahead of Chelsea.
They're still in 8th place, though.
I know, it's crazy. Anyway, speaking of teams above them, Aston Villa, man, they're on fire as they played West Ham, destroying them 4-1 in this one. And it never really looked like a game as Aston Villa got scoring underway in the 30th minute through some lovely build-up play. Douglas Luiz with the shot that had too much power on it for Areola. And from then on, it was pretty much cruise control for Aston Villa.
Yeah, they got a PK after Edson Alvarez fouled Konsa. Douglas Luiz gets his second, makes it 2-0. But West Ham would get one back from Jared Bowen. It was a bit of a lucky shot. He took a shot. It took a wicked deflection.
Wicked.
Goes past Emi Martinez. Yeah. Very fortuitous.
Yes.
For West Ham there.
But Villa would restore their 2-goal lead after a lovely run-in shot by Oli Watkins, who is absolutely on fire right now. I believe it's his 5th goal in 3 games in the 74th minute. And then Leon Bailey would add the cherry on top of the whipped cream, on top of the ice cream, on top of the cake. And a very good Villa performance, getting this 4th with a lovely move and finish. And man, did he sit that defender down with that crossover, cutting it back and putting it right in the top bins.
Woo! He did, man. That was a lovely piece of skill.
It was. But, yeah, I mean, Villa were the better team, deserved to win. 11 consecutive home wins for them. They're absolutely flying at the moment. They've scored the 2nd most goals in the Premier League, just behind Newcastle, who've scored a goal more. Can they challenge for the top 4? Maybe top 6?
Top 4? I don't think so. I mean, you look at that: Tottenham, City, Liverpool, Arsenal. I think that's going to be your top 4. Top 6? Yes. I definitely think they can make that top 6. They're going to be fighting Brighton, Newcastle, maybe Manchester United. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, West Ham will be up there with the shout, but I don't think they'll touch the top 6. But yeah, I mean, it's tight at the top, man. And Aston Villa are throwing their names in the hat.
Oh man, they look good.
Yes, they do.
From their defense to their midfield to the forward line, yeah, they look good.
Yeah, and I mean, they get trampled by Newcastle, right?
Opening day, yeah, they did get beat by Newcastle.
But they also destroyed Brighton. So, I mean, this could go anyway.
Should be Brighton, did they destroy Newcastle? That's how it goes, man.
Full circle. Yeah. All right. As we started this week with a rivalry full of drama, we will end with a rivalry full of drama as we had a London derby as Tottenham took on Fulham in our Monday night game of the week as Spurs would run out winners 2-0 in this one. Both teams got off to shaky starts. Spurs looking the better of the two teams, and it took a woeful mistake from Calvin Bassey that would see his pass go straight to, I think it was Papa Sarr, who played it to Richarlison, feeding in Heung-min Son, who coolly slotted it into the top corner to give Spurs a deserved lead.
Yeah, it was a deserved lead. Beautiful finish by Son, man. Top bins.
I mean, it's kind of what we expect from him now. Getting into those positions, pretty much I would put my money on it. He's going to score 9 times out of 10.
Once he got into that position and he had to fake the shot, the defenders went for the block and he went around him. I was like, oh, that's a goal.
He would also be involved in Spurs' second as well, as a bit of deja vu, as Calvin Bassey, again, in only his first start against Arsenal, he would have got a red card. Just throwing that out there.
I felt bad for that poor defender, man, because, he had another, I don't know if it was a pass or a clearance or whatever it was that went to a Tottenham player who fed it to Son, and Son laid in Maddison, who just put it around Bernd Leno.
Yep. Capped off yet another wonderful performance, putting the game out of reach. James Maddison, man. He's got to be head and shoulders above everybody else for signing of the season. Already.
In England?
Yeah.
Or in the world?
In England.
Okay. I'm going to say, Jude Bellingham might have something to say about that.
I think he's head and shoulders above everybody else for the world. But
yeah, I'm trying to think. Okay, so in England, I'm thinking Szoboszlai. No, Maddison would be above him.
James Ward-Prowse, Declan Rice.
I would put him above them, yeah. I think, he might be onto something.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not going to be anybody from Chelsea since they signed pretty much a whole new squad in the summer. So, but yeah, I mean, he's just so impressive, and he's staying healthy, which is the big thing for Tottenham Hotspur. That was the big question mark.
That is a huge thing. Yes. Will it last? That's the question.
Yeah. Should have been more for Tottenham, but Raul Jimenez had a few sitters in this one in the second half. It could have got Fulham back into the match. I don't know what. I mean, I understand he had a pretty bad head injury against Arsenal a couple years ago. But his finishing has just been lackluster since then.
Yeah, and I will say Vicario came up with some good saves, too. I remember in the first half, he had a fantastic save on a header from Ligne. There was another one he made there in the second half. So, I mean, Vicario is looking like another great signing as well.
I would agree. And Mickey van der Ven as well. Man, is he quick.
Van der Ven, yep. So, I mean, they just have bought a good squad, and Angeball looks good, man.
Yeah. Well, there is one blip on Angeball and their squad, as I just want to talk about Richarlison for a second.
Your favorite player?
He's such a frustrating player to watch, man. He had some passes in this game that were absolutely brilliant. But more often than not, especially in front of goal, he was awful. Just awful. And I'm excited to see the Spurs side when they actually play someone who will test them, especially when Richarlison has to do something good.
I keep hearing that they're waiting for a team that can test them. Are Manchester United and Arsenal not teams, and Liverpool teams not contest them?
Well, Liverpool, we can just put an asterisk next to that one because Liverpool were cheated out of that game. Arsenal shot themselves in the foot, so Spurs did nothing to beat them, and Manchester United are terrible. I want to see them play like a Villa, a Newcastle, a City. Play Arsenal again. Those sort of things. Because I don't think that they've really played anybody that has really tested them.
So I guess Liverpool and Arsenal don't count as test-worthy teams.
Again, Liverpool were cheated out of that game. As PGMOL have said, because they should have got the lead through Luis Diaz, and Diogo Jota should not have been sent off. Arsenal, I'll give you that one. Arsenal didn't play very well. They shot themselves in the foot. James Maddison could have walked anyone off the park that day. So I'll give you that one. But other than that, Manchester United were piss poor when they played Tottenham. Other than that, they haven't really played anybody else.
They have played a lot of the bottom teams, minus the ones I suggested there, but we'll see. What are their next games coming up? They play Chelsea or Crystal Palace coming up, and then Chelsea, Wolves, Villa, City, West Ham, Newcastle. So they are going to have a tough run at some point, because like you said, they had a little bit of an easier start there, but So far, they have passed every test, as you like to
Yes.
say. Whether those tests have been hard or not, that I think that's up for debate.
Yeah. But
We want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments. Of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, check out our other socials, TikTok, Instagram, join our Facebook group. And if you want to support the channel, feel free to check out our Redbubble account. You can get some merch, stickers, whatever you desire on there. But that's the end of this episode. On that note, we love you guys. Thank you so much. As always, cheers.
cheers.